Hey YouTube, welcome back. We're taking a deep dive into the second Pokemon Pokopia trailer today. It was announced earlier today and revealed a whole bunch of new information. As you can see here, we're going to stop it right here. We can already get a bit of a glimpse at just how big this island is. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to jump into this trailer a little bit more closer than we probably would and look at some of the details, see if we can see any new features and just break it down as we go. So thank you so much for being here. And as we can see again, just look at the size of this island. It just looks so much bigger than I kind of imagined in the first trailer. Now we will get to being able to travel to other islands and that by transforming into other Pokemon, but more on that as we get to the end of the trailer. But we can see here lots of kind of dead trees. I guess this is a very apocalyptic land. We've got building blocks here, remnants of old buildings and stuff, even broken lampposts. It looks like an old campfires possibly. So lots to take in here. I think all of this is going to be restorable, or I guess harvestable. I don't know. And here we get our first look at the ruins of a Pokemon Center, which I'm guessing will be the foundation of the actual island and the main kind of focus point. As we'll meet in a minute, Professor Tangrove, who we'll meet in a second, is already trying to rebuild this island, and I think this Poke Center is going to be kind of the center point of that. Again, we kind of get an idea of how vast this island is. Look at the mountains in the background there. It looks absolutely huge. Anyway, we're about to meet Professor Tangrove here with a very awesome little pointer, some glasses and everything. Very, very cute Pokemon. Going to be our guide through the whole process. This part here, we'll just pause the trailer again because we get to see various weather here on top of kind of a cliff top here. It looks very cartoony in the background there at the moment, but we do get lots of different weather types. We can see the wind, sunrises, nighttime. I think we even had rain at some point there. So again, gives us a little idea of kind of the ecosystem and what else we'll expect around the island. Now, I just wanted to pause it here again because looking at the back there is some kind of ruin. Now, I don't know. Originally, when I first saw it, I thought it was some kind of like windmill or lighthouse or something like that. I still don't really know what that is, but it looks like there will be other buildings around the island that we'll have to rebuild and hopefully repopulate the area surrounding it. Actually, it looks like some... Oh, wait a minute. We're seeing some kind of like danger sign underneath there. Maybe did something explode here? I don't know. And also, looking over the other side there, it looks like we've got something shiny in the corner underneath the cliffs there. So lots to take in here, but there is already infrastructure, by the way. Stairs, fences, things like that. So there's an awful lot to take in, honestly. But we're trying to look at the smaller details here. And we are going to make our way into the cave here and get a little bit of foundation to the story, get a bit of a recap here of what we saw in the previous trailer, the initial kind of debut trailer. And that was, of course, the Ditto escaping from his Pokeball. So yeah, this is just reintroducing us to how we, I guess, landed on this island. And that's, of course, our trainer in our Pokedex. And this is where Ditto gets the idea to escape and live a whole different life. We are, of course, a humanoid. Who knew Ditto could do that? But yeah, so it just kind of reiterates that we are now exiting our Pokeball and entering a whole new realm, I guess, whole new world. Definitely post-apocalyptic. Something bad has happened here. There's no humans around anymore, and Pokemon are going to be rebuilding it. I like this kind of a mini cutscene here. But this is, of course, where we meet Tangrove, Professor Tangrove. And we get an idea, actually, that is our goal. That is the objective of this game, is to rebuild, redecorate, and I guess revitalize a thriving community. And again, this is our first look at the ruin from a different angle, but also our first look at how the infrastructure is still here. Lots of paths still here, different types of paths as well. Some signs even over there, some classic Pokemon signs, fences, and also at the back there, a water fountain that, again, we'll see later in the trailer has kind of been, I guess, rebuilt and serves a new purpose and things like that. Again, we see lots of materials lying around, rocks, logs, different types of soil and grass. So lots of materials that we're going to use probably to craft things. Now, we're getting a bit of an introduction here in the trailer just to who Professor Tangrove is, why they're here, and of course, they're already trying to rebuild this Poke Center and make the island a better place. We can see some grass that needs watering already. But also, again, if we just pause this here, we do see another resource already on the mountain there. I think it's a mushroom. I don't know if it is. It might be a mushroom or some kind of statue, or maybe it's a Pokemon. I don't know. It's hard to see at this distance. But yeah, we get a bit of an introduction here. So we don't. Not the trailer doesn't show too much at this stage. It is a bit of an introduction to who the professor is, why we're on this island, and then we get into the good stuff, all the features, what we can make and craft, and we even get a look inside like the crafting recipe book. But this is just telling us that we kind of want to help the land. Here's a closer look at the little horsey statue there. And that's going to be a fountain that we rebuild. We've got some vines hanging over the edge. So this is just, it's kind of blowing my mind just how big this world is actually. Again, we're going to get in later how we can customize the characters and things like that. But we do have a bit of a lengthy introduction to Professor Tangrove, which is just one of 4, by the way, kind of main Pokemon characters of Pokemon Pokopia. We'll meet the other 3 towards the end of the trailer, but they didn't really play a big role in the trailer itself. Now, this is obviously where the game is going to start. This is the focus point, and we're going to build it from here out, I think. I don't know if there's going to be a limit, but if we look over there to the top right, it does look like we can already access new areas. Once you get abilities to get through certain rocks and things, we'll be able to access whole new areas. And again, we'll see later on how we'll be able to even fly to other islands. But also, we get our first look here at like a human item, a non-Pokemon item, and that is the sandbag or the punch bag inside what's left over of some kind of gym or building there. So we're going to be able to use that to decorate things and probably, well, definitely encourage other Pokemon to be here. Right, create habitats and meet Pokemon. So this is another kind of main point of the game, is to make other Pokemon come here. We want this to be a thriving community. So basically it's suggesting that we want to make this place a very livable place for the Pokemon. Here we can see a lovely dock that goes out to sea and lots of water Pokemon swimming around. And there's also a fishing rod there. First time we get to see a fishing rod, and actually that fishing rod we get to see it again in a little while, but that will encourage other water Pokemon to kind of come to the island, which is really cool. So it's just about kind of making the area invitable to Pokemon, if that makes any sense. And when we meet new Pokemon, we're going to get new abilities. There we can see we've moved the sandbag away from that kind of ruins building that we saw earlier, and we put it in a new place, and hopefully this attracts some new Pokemon, which we know it will because there's Hitmonchan. So obviously a fan of the punch bag there, and this is what I was talking about just a second ago of the fishing rod. Placing a stool there, I don't know if the stool triggers the fishing rod somehow, but having the fishing rod there will attract a Magikarp, which is really cool. So it's just going to be one of many ways probably of attracting new Pokemon: flowers, grass, trees, and of course how we saw certain items will attract Pokemon as well. And here, if we just pause this here, kind of looks like a weird CCTV camera, but we get a good look at some of the Pokemon that we'll probably meet early on in the game, I think. Really cool. Look at the Executor there near the palm tree. We've got so many different Pokemon, and they're all just coming from different habitats, I think. The Machop there, based on the surroundings. So we've probably cleaned up a bit of grassy area, placed a big boulder there or something, and Machop's made his presence known. So yeah, really cool. I wonder who it could be. So again, we get another good look at the background there, and we can see how the terrain kind of goes from the grass and trees up into mountains and stone, and even some actual brickwork, it looks like, at the top there. So a whole wide range of materials that we're going to be able to use. So learning moves from Pokemon. Obviously, we knew this from the first trailer. We're going to be able to learn moves from the Pokemon that we meet. Presumably, every single Pokemon will offer at least one move. Here, Squirtle is doing the Water Gun, which revitalizes the grass, the flowers, allows them to bloom, and of course, the berry tree here as well. I always thought they were apples, but obviously they're berries. It makes much more sense. And I guess we've learned something from Hitmonchan here, being able to punch through this kind of softer wall or mud wall. I don't know if it's kind of what kind of material it is, but we're going to punch our way through there and open up a whole new area. And look, oh, we just spotted, I don't know if I can go back. I just spotted like a shiny rock there. So I don't know if there's going to be some kind of treasure in there or a shiny Pokemon. I don't know if the Pokemon's going to be inside the actual rocks or something. There's something there that we're going to dig out though. And of course, we get our first look again at tilling the ground and planting and harvesting crops. So we are getting a bit of a recap from the first one again, but slightly in more depth. So there's lots that we didn't know, and we're getting a much more in-depth look now at things that have kind of just been reintroduced to us. This is really cool. This is really cool. I'm sure you've seen the trailer already, but if you didn't, of course, the Ditto, famous for transforming into other Pokemon, and right now we're transforming into Lapras. It's just so cute. The little Ditto Lapras is really cute, but here we're actually traveled away from the main island and to another island. It looks a bit tropical to start with, but there are mountains in the background there. Maybe it's uninhabited, or maybe there's a bunch of Pokemon there. I guess we'll have to find out. But it looks like we can just travel the ocean and come across other islands. And similarly with a Dragonite, another cute little Pokemon. Look how adorable it is. But yeah, using Dragonite's flying ability, we can leave our own land and just look how vast that is. That is absolutely huge. The further the Dragonite flies, you can see more and more land come into view. And again, it looks very rocky, different terrain. So I'm guessing it's going to be much like Minecraft, where the further you travel, the different types of terrains you find. So yeah, we're going back to the professor now and getting a little bit of introduction about the whole purpose of this thing. And I'm just really excited about it. I'm not going to lie. It's very cute. I think this game is going to be absolutely huge. So yeah, and of course we move on to crafting things now. A huge element in any farming life sim. Any materials we source or harvest or collect, we're going to be able to use, like the logs from the tree here, thanks to Scyther's cutting ability, no doubt. Oh, Venonat. I love all the Gen 1 Pokemon. And then, of course, we use our crafting bench to craft things. And again, this is looking at the start of the game, probably how the island is going to look. And then as towards the end of the trailer, we're going to see like what a developed island looks like. So here we're going to craft things. I think we get, our first look at a crafting book of some description. And we can see the tabs across the top there. We've got kind of all of the recipes we know, some furniture, some plants, and there looks to be some kind of special tag as well. And this is a log table, so we need some small logs, which we get from trees, and we can use these to craft a log table. It looks like a campfire is there as well, and maybe kind of a patch of a grass bed or something like that. And we also have a stool. Oh, we need some leaves. So I guess we can just get the leaves also from the trees we chop down. It looks here, it says, it's a little itchy, but it doesn't bother Pokemon. They'll snooze away just fine on this, and relaxation marker. So we saw an Abra actually fall asleep on this. So I'm guessing that's going to encourage sleepy Pokemon to come and have a little nap there and encourage them to come to our island. And here we get a whole, it's going so quick, it's moving to a whole new thing now. And we're looking at a house that we can build. And we can see the electric as well going through the cables. Wait, is that? I think that windmill is generating electricity. That is so cool. So it looks like we can build up kind of a monument with a windmill on top and use the actual environment to generate electricity as well to kind of, I guess, make these vending machines work? I don't know. But also we can, I don't know if it's just for the street lamps or the vending machines as well, but it makes sense anything electrical would be connected to that. Here we can see building bridges and stuff, so we can build any kind of terrain that we want. It looks like we can have like 100 floors, I'm sure, if we wanted to. We can just put a block anywhere. Any material, we can see some stairs have been built. There's a ladder at the back there, a whole new building to the right there. And it looks to be some carts or something like that. We can actually see some wheels and like a trough or a planter. So lots of items just in this picture alone that we can use. Bushes, fences, steps. There's other planters with actual flowers in. There's a massive bell as well. Benches, some kind of, I don't know if that's some kind of like bulletin board as well. There's a lot to take in here, and it just looks so good. So there's obviously going to be a lot of recipes and things that we need to unlock so we can craft all these items. Here is the little bed that attracted the Abra. We kind of guessed that would be the case. But yeah, we can build up this thriving community, which is just really good. And the better we do and the more diverse items we have, the more Pokemon we're going to attract. So again, this is really funny because we've got the professor here not knowing what to do with certain building blocks. I guess this is where we kind of come in and we can share a few ideas. But also we've got the Alakazam at the back there manipulating the balancing blocks, which I thought was really funny. So I'm guessing Alakazam is going to help us maybe move some blocks around and build bigger houses. Now, another good thing the trailers show off, it seems to be kind of Pokemon side quests. So some of the Pokemon are going to have needs or requirements, and we're going to help fulfill those. I guess in return for sharing abilities or having them just stay permanently on an island. But we can see that actually in the background, this is a good thing. I don't know if that's a Pokemon or a rock in the water there, but also there's some cutouts in the kind of the stone wall at the back there. So really interesting infrastructure already. I'm guessing a lot of this is going to be randomized. And again, we get another look at the sandbag there. So we've kind of gone back a step as well to how the island was at the start. And the Squirtle's side quest here, he's not happy on this part of the island. He wants some water. I don't know why the sea back there wasn't good enough, but he wants to go through here anyway. So we're going to help Squirtle get to where he needs to be. And I'm assuming he's going to say, thank you, here's my squirting water gun ability. And also, there's a random Onyx trapped in the mountain, I guess in a landslide or something after whatever disaster happened on the island. This poor Onyx was trapped. So it's just suggesting that we're going to have to kind of hunt down these different Pokemon and rescue them, and then they'll be more inclined to come and stay with us, help us on our island as well. So lots of Pokemon to rescue, lots of quests to do. I think we can move all of these items, the fences, the signs, help rebuild the buildings. And yeah, the professor is going to be at the center point of it. The Tangrove professor just looks very different, of course. Very much like a professor, I have to say. And then we go on to a bit more of the modes, I think, and what else the game brings us. So here we can see the Pokemon kind of working together. It's at nighttime again. We know there's a clock day-night cycle. We know that, but it's very cute, these Pokemon kind of sitting around the campfire. They're just very cute. And we can see some of their abilities again, just watering the flowers, making them bloom. But we also get another look at some buildings. There's so much to take in here. It's like, we kind of probably need to watch this 2 or 3 times, but we've got a nice plant here with some crops actually growing in it. Some peas in a pod, it looks like. We've got berries on the tree in the background. This is a different building we've seen already. So that's like at least 3 buildings we've seen. Something we've probably crafted. There's different kind of berries. So up until now, we've only seen the red ones. These are different kind of berries. I'm not a Pokemon berry expert, but we've also got a Pikachu here lighting up the way with the street lamp. So I guess we don't just need a windmill. We could also use, of course, electric Pokemon. But I'm guessing maybe if we start using electric around our island, it might encourage the electric Pokemon to also come here. But yeah, it's just suggesting if we work together, we'll be able to build anything. And it looks like this is going to be the house we probably saw in the first trailer. There's a little sign there with a house on it. And it looks like there's some food or some money or something in the front of that sign. I'm guessing we have to put materials there in order for the Pokemon to build the house for us or something like that. But that's so cute. And there's a water mill at the back there, which is really unique. So I'm guessing we could craft those, place those where we want. I don't know if we're going to be able to place water or if water is only in certain locations, but this island looks so vast. It really does. And here's another statue we've built. I don't know if that's when we get the island to, or I keep saying island, I'm assuming it is an island, to some sort of ranking when we I don't know if it's when we beat the game or when we kind of invite a certain amount of Pokemon. We're going to unveil this ditto looking surfing Pikachu statue. Again, we get just look how far out the little islands in the back there are. There's just stuff all over the place. It's really, really interesting. So many ways to play. So this is where we're going to go into the modes available. So we've got the typical photo mode where you have in every game now where you just want to take screenshots. But this is really interesting because we also get a look at new Pokemon, new baby Pokemon, new items like the cake stand, and also some customization options for the characters, different hairstyles. We've got some really cool Pokemon there. Tyranitar, Charizard, amazing. I wonder where they are. And here we get a good look at the customization menus. We've got tabs across the top there, like hairstyles, clothing, caps even, things like that. So there's actually quite a lot of different styles. Here we get a look at different hats as well, and accessories. Pair of glasses, sunglasses. And then it moves on to, again, we're probably going to need more trailers than this, or maybe even a direct to look at this more detail. But we get a good look at how it looks to decorate our house. It's not going to be when we're inside just chilling. This is kind of the decoration mode, I think. So there's nothing going on in the background, but it just gives us a bit of an open space in the middle, in the room to decorate things. And we can see like a gaming setup, CD player, Pokeball, kind of neon lamp, posters, you name it, the furniture is in here. And then we can see basic building using kind of brick blocks. So really cool. And there's something else over there. I think that's actually just more logs on the top right there as it transitions into the mountains. So many materials just randomly lying around. And here we see a post box. How cute is that? A field of flowers, a roof, lights, benches, working doors. That's so cute. So I don't know. I don't know if we're going to have to go in there. I'm starting to think maybe the Pokemon Center is the one you go in and decorate, and then everything else we can kind of just decorate freely, but we might have to go in some buildings separately maybe. But I do wonder, are we going to get mail or anything like that? But here we can see 4 characters playing online together. You will need Nintendo Switch Online, of course, but it's just some of the multiplayer, showing off some of the photo mode, if that makes sense. And then it goes on to talking about the game share. So nothing too much secret here. We know game share is a thing, but the big thing is that you can actually share this game with someone on Nintendo Switch as well, because it is a Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive. So really, really cool. It's just mind-blowing how big this game appears like it's going to be. But we get some new looks here. Another look at a different style of characters, some different trees. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to craft trees or if they randomly grow or if we can move them somehow. Shells on the beach, we'll probably pick those up. And here we get another look from a different angle. The windmill at the back there again. All the Pokemon doing their thing, working hard. I love the fences and the street lamps. I think so many people are going to make different routes and classic Pokemon routes. It's going to be great. Where does the ladder go? I don't know. It's so cool. And here we get a first look at kind of like the farming aspect of Pokemon Pokopia. All the different crops that we can grow and harvest. Again, the players are kind of working on it, but I think the Pokemon would come in automatically and water them for you and things like that. So I like how they've made like their own little field there and kind of fenced it off so no one can get to it. Really cool. And another vending machine, a water mill again. And this is what it looks like to build a path. Instead of just laying a path like you would in other farming games, you actually have to dig down and put the path block in. So that's a really cool technique. A little bit different to most farming games. Another wide view here. We've got the bell hanging over the edge there. Above the statue again, berry trees. So it looks like you could, if you wanted to. I mean, I'm sure there's a height limit, but you could just build like multiple floors. So above that kind of platform, above the little lake there, you could then build another one above that and so on. So this is truly endless. It's like, who knows what people are going to come up with. Here we've got Pokemon sleeping on the bed, some very elegant furniture here. So I guess there's going to be actual set furniture series. The clocks are going to work, obviously, probably pull the time from the Nintendo Switch. Little library here, very cozy environment. Oh no, Jigglypuff singing. No, everybody's asleep. Oh no, classic. Yeah, but again, so very kind of, it looks very basic, but I imagine a lot of work has gone into just setting this island up how it is now compared to what it's like at the start of the game. So, wow, look at that. Multiple houses, 1, 2, 3, 4 at least. A bicycle as well. I wonder if we'll be able to use that. But yeah, this just looks really good. Again, another view of the kind of floating platform there. So it really is endless. I'm sure people are going to build towers and coves and mountain dwellings and all kind. I just saw an Umbreon there as well. So many Pokemon have been revealed. It's crazy. And then we get another look, and then a mini cutscene here of the professor, as we like to call them. So yeah, and it goes on now. A little bit of another random cutscene, just showing off the 4 Pokemon I mentioned earlier. Of course, we have the professor who's been in the trailer from the beginning, the Tangrove. But then we go on to see the Smearguru. We know their names from the Pokemon website. I made a video previously going over those. And we've got a Pikachu. A very poorly Pikachu. Kind of looks like a ghost or radioactive. But I think he's probably just low on energy, to be honest. So again, we don't know what this is about. We don't know if this is introducing DLC or if this is introducing the storyline. But here we have a very interesting Snorlax. I probably just spoiled it then. It kind of looks like a Bulbasaur at the start, but it is a Snorlax covered in moss, been asleep for a long time. Beautiful looking scene here. We've got, I don't know if they're light bulbs. Are they light bulbs or some kind of glowing plant? I don't really know. But yeah, so again, I'm guessing we're going to have to rescue this Snorlax called Mosslax, by the way. So he's been asleep for a long time, And then it basically ends reminding us that it's coming March 5th, 2026. So that is a whole thing. There's a lot to take in, even going through a bit of a deep dive, analyzing that video as we just did. We probably missed a whole bunch of things. I can now see that the Pikachu has made the front cover of the Pokemon Pokopia artwork there, as well as the professor. So lots to take in. Let me know what your favorite part of this is. Let me know if we kind of skipped over anything there that we should take a look at in a bit more detail. But there's lots of crafting, lots of side quests helping villagers, lots of rebuilding to do. The main quest is to meet the professor, rebuild the Pokemon Center, and expand the island. The two coolest things, using Lapras and Dragonite to explore further lands, an offshore land, which is really, really cool. So there we have it, the full analysis, or a mini deep dive, I guess, into the